So, hi, I'm Kat, and I decided to do a review on First and First, which is this one, and it's part of the Five Barrios series. It's book three. The first one is Something Boulevard, the second one's Sunset Park, which I didn't read because I hated David. I hate David, and he's like the main character of that book, and I can't handle that. And I even hated him first and first. I hate David. But and first and first is the third one. You can read them as contemporaries. I mean, they do talk about some stuff, but it's not a main part of the book. Is like learning about other people's lives and such. And first and first follows Caleb, who is a rich little boy. He's not little; he's like 30, but he's a rich guy who's never really did like hardcore sexual experiences. He's always very laid back and tries repressive, and I guess vanilla would be a term used for him. And he doesn't want to be. It's just what is expected of him. Like his father raised him to be a certain way, very reserved, very much hides his emotions and everything. And the book starts off with him at a New Year's party as he watches his ex-boyfriend making out with the his new boyfriend, his ex-boyfriend being David. Good thing he broke up with him, is all I'm saying. And it's about him seeing that and then freaking out and then just running off like while the countdown's going on and kissing the first guy he meets. And well, not meets, but during the one and you were supposed to kiss somebody, he just kisses somebody randomly, and that person is Ollie. And as because they were really drunk that night, they decide to sleep together, and apparently it was a 5 hour sexual escapade. So that's awesome. And yeah, it's just a really cool novel. I know like if you're not into man on man action and stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. But it's not like Captive Prince or something of that nature. They're very much in tune with what they kind of want. Like Caleb knows what he wants, he's just scared. And Ollie's like, I do what I want, and he doesn't want to be tied down to one person and all this other things. And yeah, and it's a really, really good book. Like I really enjoyed it. I really, especially the relationship between Caleb and Ollie, how they talked about stuff before going into it. Like Caleb, there was this one scene where they're about not BDSM. It's more of like a rough sex play, really type of book than BDSM. But there was this one scene where Ollie got Caleb this gift, and he's talking to Caleb about it, and Caleb's like, I really like having sex a certain way or in my head and have these fantasies, but I like to be pressured into it, type of thing. It's just for the play and everything, and that was awesome because it's so many books, 50 Shades, and God, I'm trying to think of another one, the Anne Bishop Black Jewels trilogy, but really that society is all based on um, people being forced into sex. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Um, Sleeping Beauty trilogy by Anne Rice, like how it seems like one of them is being forced into this type of sex play and everything, and they don't want to be there, but they're doing it for love or for compassion or just to get the guy or get the girl. Sometimes it's both ways, and I don't really like that. But in this, it didn't bother me as much. I mean, you still had some moments where they kind of seemed pressured, especially when Ollie really didn't want to have sex this one time. Caleb was like, no. I didn't really like that, but that was a huge emotional moment because you can't have a book without drama, and that was like a drama part of the book. And and they did talk about it later. That was a thing. Like Caleb always wanted to talk uh, through his feelings. He was always like, "Oh, I don't understand why you're doing this. Tell me." And Ollie was always repressive about it. Caleb was like, "What the fuck?" Which I really, really enjoyed. It was like this communication. And eventually, towards the end, Ollie confesses like all his stuff and everything. And I really, really enjoyed that. You don't really see it, especially in man on man things, or even like fan fiction, flash fiction, and or any romance novel where they have communication. It's usually just them wallowing in their own insecurities without ever discussing anything. Like the what's it called? The Brother, the Dagger, the one by J.R. Ward, and I don't know that I just instead of running away from the person that you're supposedly in love with, how about you try sitting down and talking to them and trying to be actual adults, especially because in this book they're both 30, so that helps. But that's just kind of how Santino Hassell, the guy who writes First and First, writes his books. They're very much communication. There's communication between his people, other than After Midnight, which is another one I read where they didn't really have communication, but whatever. But even the first one in the series, which I forgot the name of it, something Boulevard, um, where it's about these two people. One of them is a bit of an alcoholic and has an abusive parent. Well, they both have abusive parents, but yeah. And even in that one, there was communication. And when they stopped having communication, that's when the relationship started falling apart, which is really, really cool. I really enjoy that. It's very realistic. And I really recommend his novels if you ever get the chance. Or if you ever if you like the stuff. Warning, First and First has the most sexual adventures out of all of the ones in the series, and there is a lot of rough play and a lot of there's public sex. There's also sex with toys and stuff, but it does focus way more on their relationship, and it focuses a lot on Caleb and how he expresses his emotions and how he can get out of being this guy that people view as boring and dull, and how he actually isn't that person. It's just something that he was forced to become. And so, yeah, I really recommend it. It does have some interesting ideas. Like, do you do you think people should have open relationships or not? Do you think that you can be with many people but still be only in love with one person? Personally, I think you can, but and like because they went to a swingers party pretty much. If you don't know what swingers are, it's where you bring couples together and you share sexual experiences with all these other people, but then you basically go home with their significant other. And yeah, they just bring up all these interesting things, and I really want to hear what's his name, Jace and Aiden, Caleb's brother. I really want to hear their stories because their whole relationship is based on like they're married, but they also see other people together. They see other people together, and I want to know their story because it's a very interesting philosophical topic to me, and I would really like to know. But yeah, I read the series. Well, read this book / read the series if you want. It was I think the first book was 99 cents, but not anymore.